Welcome back to Foo-ology podcast. I'm here with the homie Eddie. What's up, my boy?
We're right here, bro. We're chilling. We're running it back just like usual.
Have a chill time, bro.
Have a good time, basically.
And these cigars are really good, my boy.
Yeah, these are some good cigars.
Damn, these are hella good, bro. But they be saying that we're potheads or some shit, bro.
Yeah, bro. The comments will be saying that we're potheads and we're this and that, and we're cracked out. And no, if you are a true listener from day one, you know that we just go off on whatever kind of topics, bro. Like we can just talk about anything right here. Obviously, it sounds crazy. It's not a lot of stuff, sounds crazy, but it's just a good time, bro. It's just for fun.
It sounds crazy, but it's a truth.
Yeah, and then we speak the truth too.
There's a fucking a truth to it, bro.
There's a truth
not
to
like
it.
We're just
Potheads.
being fucking lying ass fools talking out of our asses, bro.
Yeah, and the shit that you want to hear too.
Yeah, and it's like people actually love hearing our shit, bro. Like we've been hearing a lot of comments like, "Oh, I love keep it up, bro. Keep up the good work." Those are the people that move up faster in life, because they listen, bro.
That's
it's
true.
like a lot of people don't listen nowadays, and that's a hard truth, bro. And they just want to skip by, bro. Because we're all stuck with not all of us, but it's like our attention span that we have.
It's too low, huh?
But if you listen to if you're really interested in a podcast, bro, and you listen to all of that, you'll always think of it like on top of your head, bro. Like if a situation like this happens, be like, oh yeah, these guys were talking about it. It's like any podcast, Joe Rogan podcast,
That's
whatever podcast you like, or whoever you want to follow and like and all that. They always have a good message, and when you listen and you go back, you're like, is it really this way? Like life, really this way? And then most of the time, if you're the real ass people, yeah, of course, yeah, that's how life is, bro. And I wish I would have, like I said, heard a podcast like this when I was 15, 16, even 18, bro. That would be straight up parenting shit, bro. Even better almost than parenting, bro.
It's like a best
friend. It's like a best friend telling you what's up, bro. And it's crazy because nowadays you can't even really trust a lot of people, bro. And it's like that one Mexican chick that got shot up, bro.
Oh,
damn.
My God.
Dude, do you see the video too? That shit looked fake, bro. But she got fucking...
Yeah.
That
if you guys don't know, it's that girl, what's her name? Valeria Marquez. She was live streaming, and then I don't know, she muted the video, and then all of a sudden you just see her looks like she's talking to somebody, and then people say they see the bullet striking her if you slow down the video and this and that, but I slowed it down. I didn't see nothing.
Yeah.
She just looks like she just gets hit obviously in the chest, and then her head goes down, and then you see obviously in the head, but it's not too gruesome.
Yeah.
Maybe you do see a little bit of blood on the table, but other than that, it's not too it's not too gruesome of a video. But yeah, you do see her just kind of slump over almost. She just slumps over basically, right?
Yeah, it wasn't too graphic. But
it's a crazy situation though. Huh?
But yeah, it wasn't too graphic, but that shit sucks, bro.
Yeah.
And I mean, she was really fucking pretty though, to be honest.
Yeah, she was pretty, and she had a lot of work done. And obviously, a lot of women that even seen this video, they, for whatever reason, when a pretty girl gets murdered like this, it's this is a movie kind of stuff. Every media all over the world was going to pick this up, and everybody's commenting oh, she was so beautiful, I'm so obsessed with her. And then you see all these accounts posting videos of her oh, she was so beautiful.
Oh my God.
Crazy. It's crazy what happens when people are pretty or whatever, and then they pass away. They have fan accounts now. She has whole fan accounts.
Oh yeah.
And people are oh my God, I love this girl, this and that. And I
feel like
same thing happened with those old school Hollywood actresces, bro.
Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe, all these kind of ones.
Even the rappers, bro.
Same thing.
People don't even know them, and then once they pass away, and you hear their music, you're like, what the fuck? Why didn't I listen to this music? This.
That's true.
That's what happened to me with Nipsey, bro.
That's
when you introduced me to the homie Nipsey, bro.
Oh yeah,
that first song, yeah. I was like, man. And then this fool got killed, and just, sadly, that dude was a fucking badass fool, bro. I like that fool, bro. And his music, man, I must have listened to that album like 100 times, bro. Like all his songs, bro. That shit was good ass dude.
Like
but
motivational.
yeah, motivational. And that's why you know when you're real, bro, because even the city put you know, he paid what, like he did the basketball courts and playgrounds for his city, but when he passed away they put like his painting on the like you know, the billboards or whatever, or like a wall. Well, they did one right here for Kobe too at the park right here in Anaheim.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going back to the girl like that got killed, bro. Like all these girls, not all these, I shouldn't say all these girls, but most of the girls, they're all about all that fancy shit, bro. The luxurious lifestyle, bro. Like
The fast life.
the Louis Vuitton, Gucci, me la pela Gucci, and all this shit, bro, and all this whatever's out there, bro.
And all
Dior, I don't even know. Yeah, all that Chanel and all this shit, and they want to have that, bro. And it cost this girl that her life, basically, bro, because she wanted to have a good life, and not even a good life. She just wanted that
The luxurious style.
life, yeah, bro. And she ended up getting, I mean, with the wrong dude, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly.
She was dating, and man, and that's what, you know. I'm not saying like all these girls gonna get shot up like that, bro. But if you mess with the wrong psychopath, bro, you know, and then you get attached to them, they're gonna be like, oh hell no, you're not accepting no gifts from nobody because you're mine, and you get twisted like that, bro.
That's true.
But yeah, with all this, all these, they're flashing the fucking all these high end brands, bro. Like, you know, and it's not gonna make you feel better, bro. Like you buy a Gucci shirt, whatever, and you're gonna feel cool for a day, and then after that, you spent fucking $900 on a Givenchy shirt, whatever, and then you wear it, and what, people still treat you the same, bro. It's nothing like, you know, this, and I think it's a lot of has to do with the rappers and the media, not media, the like Hollywood lifestyle, that if you don't have this shit, it's gonna make you feel like shit, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, bro, it's just a damn shirt, bro. You could get a better shirt at the thrift store, bro.
That's true.
But a lot of people don't think like that, and that's the one point where these girls be, you know, wanting that life, and they ended up like selling their body for fucking soulless shit, bro. Like, you know, and it's what do you think that play? What do you think they play that role, bro? Like, what is it, bro? Like, they just want to be, what's that? Man, how should I say it? That perfect picture, like everybody wants to be rich, bro. Like,
You know what
is that, bro?
I was thinking about this like even today, I think I was thinking about it with this whole idea of like, well, with a lot of people who speak on spiritual stuff, they say that there's only, I guess they say there's only like a certain amount of people with souls on the planet, bro. And that's like crazy. That's a crazy statement to make, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying that I agree with it or not, but I'm saying that it's just an interesting idea to think about. Like they say there's only a certain amount of people. Let's say I've heard the number is 144,000 souls on the planet. That's the number that I've heard from some people online, but like I say, I don't necessarily agree or disagree. What I'm saying is it makes sense in terms of like some people are awake and some people are asleep, and that's like what the whole message is always is, you know?
Yeah.
It's like people who are detached, they're so far detached from that source, that core heart inside you, that universal consciousness inside you. There's people who are so far removed from that they might as well be a robot, you know?
Damn.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's people who come across and their whole purpose is just resistance to your life. And they don't, it's almost like they don't have a soul. It's almost like they're just like a blank character.
A blank.
You know, they call them NPCs, this and that. And it's not that they're not human. It's not that they're not capable of being human and like waking up. It's just that they're in a state of mind that's so detached from the truth. That's just like, God damn. Like, I think that there's a big truth there. And with all these people chasing all these things, it has something to do with it because they're chasing what they think is the ultimate maximum point of life. And when you realize, when it's like when they say when you get there, you realize that like it's like there's a quote that says like there's a quote that I read.
That's why they think that we're potheads, bro. We just be laughing, bro. But it's like some funny ass shit, man.
True.
Keep
There's
going.
a
What were you
quote
saying,
that
bro?
says like, bro, the people who go to the top of Mount Everest, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. It's the same shit.
How much money they pay? Like 10 grand, 20 grand to go up there, and then they're like, we get up there, you're like, man,
same shit.
damn, I could have gone on the airplane and saved fucking all this money.
Or I could just go and walk down the street. It's the same fucking vibe, bro. It's just you. Your whole mind is wrapped in this journey. You attach value to the journey that you made, and you're like, oh wow, this must have been such. But it's not like, you have to realize that there's something to that thought. Like you're in the same place. You're always you can never escape yourself. Basically, you can never escape the truth. The truth is always like right now.
Yeah.
Like
but also too, going back on that, the Mount Everest,
shit?
bro. Yeah. I mean, people pay all that money. I mean, I think it's just for a journey too, right? Like,
for fun.
They're going there, and then they're like, they want to prove themselves too, But yeah, when you get up there, it's like, it's
like,
silent, bro.
Like, what's next?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's never gonna end. And I guess that's the thing that they're trying to teach us. Like, yeah, you can have fun. You can go there. You can go to these places. You can go to the top of a mountain. You can do fun things. You can live your life fully complete as a human and not be ashamed of it. But like, you have to not lie to yourself and think that there's something that you're gonna find there. You know, if you're having fun, have fun with your life, bro. Like, you're alive, and experience what you gotta experience, bro. Like,
bro. And then you posted a video, and you sent a video to me that was fucking, that I'm still thinking of it last week, bro. It's some white dude that says, if you know, and they think you know, they wouldn't tell you. Like, and he was like, what do you say? Some shit like that, bro. Where he's like, if you meet these kind of people, right? And they think they know.
Okay, yeah.
Watch out for them. They're dangerous.
Yeah,
and that's true for like people that think they know everything.
Yeah.
They're dangerous, bro.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking too, like, for everybody that's listening, thank you guys for still tuning in, and
shout out to you guys.
Hey, you guys should check out, if you're hearing it on the podcast, check out the YouTube videos, because the homie Eddie, this fool got a Gucci Chinese $5 million piece on it right now, bro. We got a Gucci $5 million piece right now, bro. We're gonna go to the casino with this. He's gonna get all the ladies, bro. But anyways, bro, I was going back to the people that if they knew, if they know, they wouldn't tell you, bro. And that's true, because it's like the millionaires, bro. Like, people that are billionaires, they don't fuck with a lot of people, bro, because they know, but they don't, they're not gonna help you anymore, bro. And it's rare to find like good people like that too,
That's true. Good people are rare, and just people, that goes back to that thing we're talking about with souls, Like, if it's true, if this is like an interesting thought, if there's only a certain amount of people in life that have souls, so to speak, that means that it's obviously very rare to find those matches. And it goes back to that thing that we're talking about, like with how people, birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
It's like everybody who's in their right vibe, usually they match up. So when you meet people who think you think that they're I don't know, you go on a date with them, or you go this and that, you think that they're so far removed from you. They're probably more aligned to you than you can imagine, because there are forces at play connecting you to that you don't know what's like, you're not aware of.
Yeah.
Because people cross your path in such a grand, crazy universe. How is it possible for one person to cross your path? Like,
exactly.
It's so random. It's like the math involved in that. It's so unique. That means that you kind of drew each other in a way. So
And it's crazy too, bro, because with some people you know you fuck with and other people you don't, and then you're in a classroom and you know it's an environment of 30 students, 50 students, whatever, and one almost becomes like it could be your best friend, right? But
Yeah.
it's like, how does that work in life, bro? Like, out of all those people, you know, you just connected, you vibe more with that person, bro. What do you think that is, bro?
Yeah, I think it's just like we were talking about the vibe thing. The birds of a feather flock together. It's like, if you ever heard of what a tuning fork is, I know a lot of people have never heard of what a tuning fork is, but a tuning fork, I don't know if you've seen the videos. It's just like it looks like a fork, and you hit it with a hammer, and it sends out a vibration. And if you put it next to another tuning fork of the same vibration, they'll both match each other, and they'll both start vibrating and making the same sound. Mm-hmm. But if you put it next to a tuning fork that is at a different tuned to a different frequency, then it's not going to respond. So that's kind of, in a very simple way, that's kind of how people are in a way. And it's like, you are just these tuning forks, and you are either vibe with each other or you don't.
Yeah.
And you repel each other or you attract each other, and you're on the same vibe or you're not. And I think that works in a very deep way that we maybe are super unaware of. But I think it makes a lot of sense to me,
bro.
at least.
But yeah, going off another topic, bro. Because I was in San Diego this weekend, bro, and I just seen a bunch of, damn, this whole fucking.
You're gonna answer? It's
Should
up
I
to
answer
you,
it?
We could pause it.
Pause it. All right, we're back. We just had to take a little quick break. We got the homie, someone pulled through right now, bro. One of the homies right here for a long time. One of the masters of this universe. Up and coming, bro. This fool is smart, bro.
Not ready.
Yeah, this fool. There you go, bro. With the
one of the main, the best guests that we've had so far, bro. Because that was a good interview that we had.
There you go, bro. That's a lot to talk about, bro.
Man, I'm surprised to hear that, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, my boy.
And
no joke,
you've
bro.
been hitting us up. You said that, man. What do you think about that? Actually, what's your experience with that whole interview, or like that whole the podcast, just for a good time? Like, what do you think?
I think it just opens your mind to a different perspective, how to look at life. You know, like,
Yeah.
You guys look at it from a different point of view, and I think a lot of people need to be more open to that, be more aware to that. And I think, like I said before, you can learn a lot from these two guys.
Oh, wow.
We could learn a lot from everybody, bro. But it's always
Exactly
that good
true.
podcast that will give you a better knowledge and understanding in life, bro.
Exactly.
And that's what I like to hear too, because every day people struggle, and then if you hear a podcast and they give you a tip, that could change your whole life, bro. It's like when you told me, bro. You told me from the get-go, bro, like read books when I was younger, bro.
That's a fact.
This will straight up change my life.
Yeah, you put him on
this was the one that put me on the books, bro.
No, the books though. God.
He put me on the books, bro. And then I'm like, man, this fool. And I'm like, man, I fucking hate books, bro. And I'm like, I gotta make sure, like, if this fool told me I should read it, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna read some books, bro. But I started reading books that I liked, so it got me more intrigued with reading it, bro. So it's like Law of Attraction, like meditation books. That's what I love. So I would hear, like, I like hearing positive shit, bro. Like people like miracles and stuff. Like I just read their stories, and I'm like, man, I have hope for me, bro. You know?
Damn,
So I'm like,
dope.
and then I started getting addicted to reading, bro. Like I had like a little thing I had to read mandatory 10 pages a day, bro, no matter where the fuck I was at. Damn. So I bring my book, and if I was on break, I would fucking read 10 pages, bro. That took me like an hour though, bro, because I'm not really good a fast like reader. But out of all the books, bro, that shit opened my mind, bro, like to the max, bro. And the homie over here taught me some positive shit, bro. That's a good friend right there, bro.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They don't tell you, oh, fucking go do drugs, bro.
That's true.
You know, go do fucking cocaine and shit, bro. It's go read books and go exercise or something, and that's how you level up. And look at him now, bro. This guy is
that's actually a fact right there. That's a good point right there, because it's like people don't understand, like nowadays with like people going through relationship issues and what I don't know what you call it, women or money or whatever, but like you need the people to like a good homie. Like I know that when this was years ago when I was going through my own shit, I know the homie reached out and he's like, oh, let's go on these sick ass trips, these sick ass bike rides, and that's actually like a super valuable thing to be able to be aware of, because it's like it teaches you the right things in life, not the other paths. Like, you have homies some homies that will take you to a club or some shit, and it's like, yeah, I mean, every person has their own process, and maybe you got to take them this place or that place, but it's like, that's not the ultimate truth, like. Yeah. The real people will take you to the real spots, and the real,
that's what's up,
they'll take you to the real shit.
That's temporary. Temporary.
Yeah, the club is just a little fun, little this and that. But if somebody's just taking you to the club and bars all the time, it's like, that's obviously, you're not going to find nothing.
Once in a while, it's all right.
It's fun. Like these are just fun things, and you just have to set your mindset right, because people, their mindset is super off.
Yeah, and I think that's something I learned from this guy, from Martin. I think he's got that discipline, that grit. Like, he puts his mind to something. He achieves it, man. You can tell his work ethic, bro, at the gym, bro, is it's another monster, bro. It's another beast, man. I just gotta put that out there, bro. And if it wasn't for that, bro, I wouldn't have no discipline probably to do anything, and I probably would not accomplish anything.
Yeah, that means a lot too, bro. Thank you, but yeah, I mean, you got your master's already, right, bro?
Yeah, we did.
Damn, bro. That's what's up, bro. You had to do we were talking about it too. What is that? A research paper, kind of like that?
Yeah, it's a research paper,
real?
Academic stuff. Yeah.
How many pages was it?
64 pages.
68?
64.
No.
Has to get approved. You have to go to the library and has to get checked by professors and all this stuff.
Holy shit.
It's gonna get published. Yeah, at Cal State Long Beach.
Damn. So you have an official paper out?
Kind of.
God.
On what, bro?
You want to talk about that?
We could talk a little bit about that. I think.
Yeah, spill the beans on that one, bro. I want to hear it too, bro.
A lot of things in data that are used on, like we were talking about before in the last podcast that we had, there's different models that are used within these ChatGPT. So ChatGPT basically is a transformers model. A transformers model basically, you can think of it what it means, transformer. What does it mean to transform? It basically means to transform one data set to another data set. Like a transformer, bro, like an actual Autobot, the little,
the
toy.
movie?
Yeah, like the little movie.
Sponsored by the CIA. It's true though.
But the data basically uses pre-existing data, which if you look into papers of OpenAI, they use a lot of the data that was accessed open and available to public, and then they use newsletters to start training their models. You can search up this guy. His name is Andrew Karpathy. You can search up right now on YouTube, and he's kind of one of the kind of big leaders that started that wave. But obviously under Sam Altman and all the other people who are also embedded in there. But going back to my statistics thing, not to make it boring, because I don't want to get too much on it.
No, keep going, bro. That's
go deep.
Bro, I'm already waiting for what you're gonna say, but you're good, bro. Keep going, bro.
So statistics on using things like in a business enterprise level, like in a business, there's this thing called AI agents. AI agents, you could deploy basically an agent to kind of mimic kind of something of a worker. So we're getting to that phase, but we're not officially there yet. And what I did with the model, basically, I spun up basically the kind of pros and cons limitations within the business. So theoretical level.
What kind of okay? So if you were to simplify it for just people in a practical way, how would they use that? How all that stuff that you've been testing out, if you're just an average Joe, how would you use that information to set themselves up for a better future? Do you have any?
I think we talked about this last time. I think you have to just learn from the foundations. You can learn so much right now. ChatGPT, you could probably learn calculus. You can learn the most basic level of things, algebra, geometry. But if you want to learn the more advanced stuff, you grab a book, like I was mentioning earlier, and literally try to skim through it and then ask ChatGPT questions. So you look at the reasoning, because there's some hallucinations within the model. You can't ask specific questions that are very complex. It's getting better now over time because of iterations. Just like a car, if you have a
Model T or
Model T, Model Y, Mustang, over years and years, it just gets getting better and better and better. Why? Because that's just the natural way of engineering, scaling things.
Damn, that's interesting.
That's pretty dope,
bro. And then I have a cousin, And they also like changed my way of thinking, bro. Because I thought I wasn't the brightest fucking knucklehead out here, bro. I thought I was stupid, fool. But for reals. And then my cousins, that dude, man, shout outs to that man, bro. That fool taught me how to program.
For real?
Yeah. So I would go to the warehouse and he'd show me how to program robots, bro.
Damn.
So I know how to. You gotta like keep on. It's like a gym routine. Basically, you gotta train it your brain every day. So I'm like, now if I go a little bit back to it, I'm like, I'll hesitate a little bit. Like, man, I don't know how to put these numbers in or whatever. And but you know, if you practice every day. But he taught me. I'm like, I even told him, man, I don't know if I could do that. Like I straight up told him, bro. I'm like, I was being honest. I'm like, I like straight up stressed the fuck out, bro. But he was like, bro, you could do it. So he took me to like some like location, like companies, like what's that one? It's a water company, Nautica or what it?
Is Nautica?
Nautica, right?
It's a clothing.
No. It's a water. It's like a cheap water. It starts with the N. But
Nestle.
No. It was some other one, but it was like Niagara, some shit. I don't know.
Yeah,
was it? Okay, there. Yeah. So yeah, they have like a couple of companies in Chino Hills and Ontario, I think. And then he took me there and he was like, "Nah, bro, I'm gonna teach you how to program, bro." Like, we take like these little like a computer basically, bro. And then he was like showing me, and I'm like, bro, I was like so fucking stressed out. Like, not even kidding, bro. Like, that's almost one of the most times I was stressed out, bro. Because I didn't want to disappoint him, bro. And then he's like, "Nah, bro, trust me, you got this." And then, bro, that guy's a genius, man. That fool's name, he's a good ass fool, bro. I appreciate that guy and his wife too. They straight up like motivated me more, bro. Like, man, I ain't that stupid, bro.
Nah.
And then they'd be like, we would go in and it's like, "Oh yeah, contractors coming in," and then they'd be looking at us like a different person, bro. And that's the thing too, bro. Like, people be just because and to me it's like, man, you're just a regular fucking dude, bro. All these fools thinking that just because you have all this shit, like, no offense, like a master's or whatever, bro. But like, there's people like that have the ego, or like millionaires too. Like, "Oh, I got more money than you. Fuck you," you know?
Yeah, that's true.
But
that's true.
To me, I was like, man, we're all the fucking same, bro. Like, the workers that were working there for whatever, like the routine, whatever, the lowest supposedly in the category of working
and the
job,
tier, all that
the
shit.
careers and all that.
Yeah.
I looked at them the same way, and I mean, there's even some cute girls. I'm like, God damn, but
No bother.
but yeah, bro. But anyway,
Oh my god.
but anyways, bro, yeah. I mean, yeah, those dudes, great people like that, bro, will put you on a different level, bro. And you're just you're a youngster too, bro. So that you're a future Elon Musk, my boy.
There you go. What kind of game were you? That's true, bro.
That guy's rare. I gotta just put that out there. That he's an anomaly, bro.
Yeah,
He's like
that fool got people working for him. That fool hired he's smart, fool. But you know, some people, like, they don't like telling like if they take all the credit, bro. And behind bars, behind their behind the curtains, bro. Behind the curtains, whatever. We're going back to theater. There's people that they hire that are way smarter, and he has money to pay for all of them, bro. And he, you know, he takes all the credit too. But he is pretty smart though, bro. Because no mames, you know, it's hard to do that, bro. 3 companies and stuff like that. You gotta have huevos on that shit too. Yeah. Just imagine. But it's like what they say too, bro. Like, these girls don't be texting sometimes, and they're not busier than your boy. And your boy, Elon
Musk. True. That's a good point right there.
And your boy,
that's a good point.
And your boy Elon must be tweeting out tweets or on X, and he has like 3 in the morning, and this one has like fucking 3 running 3 big ass corporations. Well, yeah, she doesn't have time to reply back to you.
Just go there and text me back.
You don't even text me back, bro. Like, that's a fact. You're busier than Elon Musk.
They got more corporations to run.
They be fucking on IG on their phone 24/7, bro. They don't even fucking do that shit.
That's true, bro. That's crazy, man. What's your take on all this, bro? What's your take on all like Elon Musk and all this kind of stuff? Like, if you have some if you have some game for the average Joe, for your average person, I don't know. If you put yourself in their shoes, let's say a few years back, what good advice would you give yourself? At least, you know.
I think you have to figure out what's your end goal, your end game, and then kind of reason down from there. Like everybody has different end games. Not everybody, like you said, I think last time, not everybody's chasing the bag. Not everybody's that's their end goal. Some people just want to have a good life, you know, with their family, you know,
a normal life. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes that's good, man. Like I respect people. Like, you know, if you're working hard, you're you know, providing food, you know, on the table for your family, bro. That's a goal too, bro. Like like what Mario was saying earlier too, man. Like, doesn't matter if you have a degree or you're like the richest person. I see everybody equally. Like, as long as you're handling your business and you're doing what you got to do, like as a man, to like do whatever you need to do, like provide or you know, do the best that you can. That's good enough, bro. Like that's good enough. But going back to Elon Musk, like the average Joe, like the guy, like the new generation, like us, like that we're trying to, you know, break the wave, you know, change the ripples or the chains. I think you just have to like,
in terms of like Mexican American,
you have to network with the right people, but you also, like, I know you guys talked about this, I think last time too, like break out of the cycle of what your parents instill on you. Like you gotta break the mindset of what your parents have the expectations on you. You gotta be free of their viewpoints on what they put on you.
Oh, that's a good ass topic. 'Cause you were about to talk about that today.
Yeah, I know, bro.
That's literally a topic we were about to touch on.
This fool didn't get a master's degree for nothing.
Yeah. There you go, my boy.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
We were literally about to talk about that before you got here, bro.
Damn.
It's about the expectations of the Mexican family and like the family structure with like I guess American culture, right?
Yeah, like dating
and all that kind of stuff. It's like in the U.S., I know a lot of Mexican Americans like with the same background as us, like me, first generation. All of you, all of us here. I'm assuming we're all first generation. Like our families are from Mexico, directly from Mexico, and we're the first generation in California, and that's a very unique like position because we have like such a proximity to Mexico that it's like we feel like we're so close, but we're so far away too, you know?
Yeah.
And they kind of treat us like that too. And even here, they treat us like we're not from here. So it's like, it goes back to those topics that we've been touching upon every episode. It's like we're not from here, we're not from there, but it's like, anybody listen to this, if you're in our position, you have to realize the game that's being played. It's like, fuck both of those sides. You have to like, let your nuts hang, so to speak, you know? You have to let your nuts hang. You be like, hey, I ain't from here, I'm from there, I'm from where I'm from. And it's straight like that, bro.
I'm
like
Santana.
Yeah, I'm from Santana. There you go. I'm from OC, I'm from GG, I'm from Anaheim, I'm from this and that. Like, I'm from where I'm from, and that's what I am. You know, it's straight like that, bro. Like,
I'm from my planet, my boy.
Yeah, because they want to make you an outsider always. Like, people always want to make you an outsider in the culture. That's just the culture. Like, Mexicans are kind of inbred haters almost in a way.
Yeah, bro.
Like we got a hate aspect in our blood, and that's a part of what gives us a thick skin. And it's like you have to understand that when you come to like Chicano studies and all this kind of shit, part of what even created Chicano studies is the fact that, you know, we have to create our own identity because you're never going to be accepted by even the white America is not going to accept you as much as you want to wave the Trump flag, the Republican flag, the cowboy American country music, fucking Joe Biden, this and that, shit, transgenderism. Yeah. As much as you want to wave that flag, you're just a pawn in their game. So you have to, instead of trying to get a seat at the table, you have to create your own table. And that's why I respect Chicano studies and all this Chicano culture and the history, especially in the universities, because this all comes from universities in the 70s and the 60s, because they're very smart because they know the way the culture works and they know that they have to create their own table because they're not going to get a seat at the table. Because if you try to get a seat at a table that's already made, you're fucked.
Exactly.
You're a puppet, bro. Like you're a puppet to the strings that they want to pull, and with the second you're not useful, you're out of the table, bro. Like,
I just want to add to
that's
that.
A good ass. That's fire right there, bro.
That's a good point.
I thought Martin Luther King was right here next to me right now, bro. Damn, bro, that was a good ass
I was
speech,
thinking
bro.
Pancho Villa, bro. Leading the revolution, bro.
That shit fucking
bro,
idiots up, bro.
That shit hyped me the fuck up. That shit hyped me up, bro. Like, god damn, bro. Like, you should be a leader now.
I'm gonna get. All right, bro.
Shit, I was about to go fucking.
You're about to
in
pick
the
up a
military.
rifle. Start doing
military
burpees.
thing.
The prison burpees.
The prison burpees, bro. God damn, man. That was a good shit, though, bro. People want to hear that shit, bro. Yeah, bro. That shit pumped me up, bro. I thought I was taking pre-workout right now, bro. But what were you saying, Rich? That's some good shit, bro. I'm gonna rewind and hear this shit again, bro, when I'm at the gym.
It's true, bro.
Now, I was gonna say, like, I think you brought up
bro.
about the table, like, to create that table, how would you create it?
Yeah, it's true. You need a network, and that's the thing that people be commenting. We be getting a lot of hate comments.
For sure, bro. Oh, shit, bro.
I even tell the haters keep on commenting, bro, because we need more haters, bro, because I just be laughing, bro.
We do need more haters,
and
bro.
we do have really thick ass game, bro.
No, but
shit,
yeah,
you know?
to create your table, I think your solution is you gotta be able to think for yourself. You gotta think as an individual, as a rational being, as a person who's intelligent. You cannot come off thinking that you. And I used to think like this: you can't come off thinking that you know everything. That you know everybody's move. You can't.
But I feel like when you're a youngster, you feel like you know everything.
Exactly.
But they need to change that, right?
And you know why it's like that?
Why?
Because social media.
Ooh.
There you go, bro. Yeah.
The reason why is because what is being portrayed in Instagram. Or these outlets, or not just Instagram, probably these outlets on all over the world on the platform of the internet.
Yeah.
It's being portrayed in a different story, and I think you got to go back to thinking for yourself, because yourself and the way you live and the way you are in your household and your family, it's a different ballgame for everybody else.
That's a fact.
And you got to figure out what's the best solution for you within your household or wherever you live. Doesn't matter if it's necessarily living with your family, but wherever you're living with a cousin or friend. You got to figure that out first, and then start reasoning the world from after that.
Damn,
that's a fact,
true,
100%.
And like we're going back to like the traditional Mexican, like how our parents grew up. They expect us to be the same here, bro. Like they expect us to have my kids.
It's not the 80s, not the fucking 90s.
Yeah, exactly. It's different, bro. Like
you can get a house in the fucking 80s just working a factory job, bro.
Back then,
in the 70s, and that's
answer to that is inflation. The generation of money over time, it's being inflated. So then you have the currency of the dollar being devalued. The reason why the currency of the dollar becomes devalued is it goes back to what's going on with current events. So tie a little bit into it.
Yeah,
it's our net GDP of how we're spending our money as a government. So the way the government issues its money being backed by treasury bonds. So the treasury bonds are basically what's backed by our dollars. So basically, people use that as a loan to use it from other countries as collateral. So I'm not sure how you
guys keep going. Yeah, that's good.
Getting more into that is they want to basically ensure that their dollar is safe. So then that's why they end up buying the treasury bonds. Typically for third world countries, like at a smaller third world countries, since their purchasing power is lower, they want to upscale for a higher dollar, so they're gonna get more money. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, okay, so we got an interesting question here. Since this is actually a topical question, because you have a video that came kind of like low key, got a little bit of traction with we got like 12K views so far. But it was about
that one video. Though,
yeah,
right?
I don't even. Yeah, just that video this past few days. Yeah. It's just that what's it called? About Mexico being Dubai or being the next Dubai. Or something. So you have to understand, like a lot of the clips we make. Like if you're listening at this point in the podcast, like you're a different type of audience. Like the people who are watching the clips and watching the IGs and TikToks, this is a different audience. If you make it to the actual full episode, like you're already kind of more tapped in. So I
appreciate you. If I see you at the bar and I know you, I'm gonna buy you a drink, bro.
Yeah, exactly,
up,
bro. Like you're in a different audience, bro.
If you're overage, over the age limit, bro, so we don't get keysered by people at the CIA.
The CIA
buying fucking. But yeah, bro.
That's a fact.
So keep going, bro. What are
Yeah,
you saying?
basically that, bro. Like the people who are actually like listening to the full episodes, which there's a lot of people that are listening to the full episodes. You're getting a different level of information because the people who are just watching the clips, obviously, you're just getting like the way the media works. You have to kind of have a little bit of clickbait, a little bit of controversy. You have to have a little bit of provocative nature, especially right now. We're just building. We're doing a little bit of provocative aspect, and that's just how it works. You know, it's just simple like that. You know, like I'm not lying to myself when I'm replying to people on these comments. Like I have like 500 comments on some of these videos. It's like,
yeah, that shit gets crazy, bro.
It's just like that's part of the game plan. That's part of the game, bro. Like,
yeah,
that's part of the media, bro. That's part of the media. It's like
they're supposed to be going.
The more they comment, every time I comment, that's another 3 views right there. You know, every time I comment, that's another like. That's another this. Because that's how the algorithm works, and it's like so. I'll just be going at it in the comments, but like we're just laughing back and forth.
And that's good, bro, because you tell everybody how it is too, and people that are listening and they want to do a podcast or they want to do their own shit. You just gave them a tip that nobody will tell them, bro.
Yeah, engage.
Well, not nobody, but fewer people that'll tell you the truth. Be like, do this thing, and then that. It's like these fucking. I think we were talking about it in the last podcast where these fucking bastards out here are like doing the fitness program shit, bro, and they're scamming people of how to get a six-pack, bro. Like you could literally just fucking do that shit. Look at like there's a bunch of apps, there's YouTube videos that are free that you can just do it yourself. You don't have to pay these fucking clowns $5,000-$10,000 just so they could pretend that you're gonna get a six-pack, bro. And it's all genetics as well. So if you really do put yourself in the gym 2 hours max going hard, and even like what I would do, bro, I would when I first started, I was with my friend and we did chest for like 2 hours, bro. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing. But then and back then there isn't too many videos too, like that'll show you like, oh, this is what you do, like upper chest, lower chest, all that bullshit. But now that there's so many fucking videos that people could see, it's like, all right, if you want to learn how to do legs, just go on YouTube. You see like endless videos of how to get your legs bigger, bro. You don't have to go to these clowns. But I think some people, they like to have a coach just to motivate them.
That's true.
Basically, that's why. So it's like they like that motivation, bro. Like they can't do them themselves, and a lot of people are like that. So that's where all that money comes in. And yeah, I mean, man, I should start doing that. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you should advertise it. Yeah,
not a bad idea.
No, but yeah.
If you guys need a trainer, bro, like just tap in with because ultimately, when it comes to podcasts, all this kind of stuff, if you guys are getting value from this, we're gonna set up avenues where you can reciprocate if you want to, and if you find value in it, and that's what happens with products, with services, and all this kind of stuff. Like, and you'll know it yourself, like. That's just how it works at the end of the day. Like, but yeah, we're definitely setting things up as it goes along. But yeah, if you want a trainer, if you're in the OC area, like, hey, tap in with the homie Martin, and tap in with. There's always multiple avenues to reach out to us, and we're open books, like they say. We're open. We have everything clear out, and display for everybody. We're not hiding from anybody.
Exactly. You can show them how to run goddamn 26 miles to my boy.
You tap in with Martin with all that kind of stuff. And
fighting shit too, bro.
You want a martial art trainer and all that. That's Martin right here. Yeah. You can have that monthly payment. But
$1,000 a month. No, I'm just kidding.
But if you're a real one, we work with people and we do what we do. But this is a good time, and this is kind of info, it's kind of like, it's priceless almost,
Yeah. It is really priceless because we're out here giving out the true facts, bro, and how it is. And a lot of people out here are just trying to scam people, bro. It's like Miami now, they say this number one scamming city or the state of the world, bro.
That's a fact.
Because there'd be all the scammers over there, bro. Like that's where all they be at, bro. They be scamming all the OnlyFans models. No, man. I can't even say any more of that, but it's like basically like LA, bro. Almost.
I know, man.
But
and we had that video about Adam 22. You know about Adam 22, Richard?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
What did you hear about him?
I just know he's like big in like LA, and he does like all those crazy videos, like with the chicks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
No, man, see, and what do you think? Like that's a good fucking influence or not even that. Just That's all you know, bro. That's all. Is it negative or all positive, bro?
I think it's all, at least in my opinion, negative. So I don't bother to watch that.
That's
Damn,
smart.
see?
That's smart. That's a smart way to do it.
But what about him, Eddie?
Well, I don't. Well, that I think people like that, figures like that, is what we have to. Like the reason why I learned media and the reason why we doing what we're doing is because we have to have a different message. You know, like Mexicans in particular, we've always have a message against us almost. It's like there's always something trying to work against us in a way.
I think I talked about this last time. I think on the podcast, we got to unite. That's the whole point of, I think. But at least for me, what I liked about Foo-ology, because I think it provides young innocent people information and access to truth. And I think if you're smart enough, you understand the message that you guys are trying to convey.
Oh wow, that's beautifully said. That's beautifully said, because it's like we were talking about earlier about the how you birds of a feather flock together. So if you, for whatever reason, I don't know if you're hating on us or whatever, if
They're probably hating, bro, but it's all good.
If you're liking the, because if you're hating on it in a way, you're liking on it too. Because if you're listening to this in a hateful way, you're like, fuck these guys. I don't give a fuck about these guys. But if
you really think about it, like, in order to accept the truth, you have to figure out what's wrong. And that's, I think you guys are in a sense breaking people's heads.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
Yeah, look at you right here.
People don't like to hear the truth. Let's be honest.
That's true.
Even
That's
family
facts.
members, cousins, friends, people in general just don't like to hear the truth.
Women for sure.
Women
don't
for
like
sure.
to hear the truth.
Oh yeah, and that brings us to that next point where you were saying about how women are well, this is what we were talking about earlier. I don't know if we were on camera, off camera, but how women they tend to
They're scared of real men. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's
Is that
the
what
thing
you're
you
saying?
said.
Yeah, because they're scared of real men, bro. Like real women, or like not even real
Your
women.
average woman, right?
Yeah, your average woman is afraid of real men, bro. Because a real man will tell them this, what's up, bro. And girls don't want to hear that because they're thinking about their Queen Diana or some shit, bro. You know.
Queen Diana.
But like, you know, like especially that, bro. Like if you tell them like, hey, I think you're getting a little chubby, or you know, some shit, they'll be like, what? And they'll be like fucking hating on you for that, bro. But you're telling them the truth, and that's gonna, you know, make them better. Then make them look better. But they don't want to hear that, bro, because they're thinking that you hate them and so shit, bro. So that's why they're afraid of like real men, bro. They're because you'll tell them the straight truth, bro. Because if you tell someone the truth, bro, you're gonna eventually just make them better, bro. Make them a better person. And yeah, that's
What's your take on it?
I honestly, I can't really say much, like, or answer much, just because I feel like there's just nowadays so much information like being accessible to people, so people look at things now from a different perspective. Like it's hard to like really, it's like a gray cloud area, I would say, because a lot of people look up to different people.
Or you thinking you gotta be a little bit soft with them.
I just think the way how it is currently right now, you kind of have to, just because I feel like the way a lot of them have been built, like from families, it just, some people are already just coming from hurt. Like, let's be real.
That's a fact.
Like a lot of their parents are already being hurt, so they don't want to experience that again, like with somebody else.
So I know
It's a psychological thing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, not being completely a dick, bro. Like, you know, complete dick with them. You know, obviously you treat them right and stuff, but at some point, like, you got to tell them the truth too, bro. You know, because there is that fine line where you don't want to balance. Yeah, a balance of like, you can't be an asshole to them too, bro.
You know what's a good point that I think that you have to reach. It's this idea of like, because I've been in long-term relationships for like 10 years, like since I was a kid, and it's like a lot of my youth years I was in a relationship where it was just me it was just me in terms of like me alone, like I didn't have a friend group, like because I just moved from an outside city, so I just moved, and then it was just me and my girl at the time, and that's actually a really interesting place to be in, because I was kind of like in a bubble.
Exactly.
Like it was just me and the relationship and my family, and I wouldn't go out, I wouldn't do it. I was just focused on what I liked, like my passions, my hobbies, whatever. And that's a place where you kind of develop yourself, but it's also like you're also kind of hidden to the realities of what people are going through, because a lot of people are going through a lot of dark shit, you know.
Yeah, bro.
Because once these relationships end, and then you're like kind of put out into that real world. You're like, fuck, everybody's fucked. You're like, everybody's really deep in a dark web. And you're like, holy shit, I was just living in this bubble of a relationship when I was a kid. And it's like, there's a benefit to that, to seeing that aspect. And there's a benefit to experiencing all the darkness. It's just what you make of it as a person. So what we're telling you here is not we're not telling you you're like worse off because you had this experience or that experience. We're telling you it's like, take all that experience that you have in your life, whatever it is, and then you make it into a better, like a launching pad into a better life, into a better, higher understanding. Because the understanding I had at the time was like, yeah, I just want a friend. Like, you just want a girl that's a friend, like literally a girlfriend. You want somebody who's a friend that's next to you. And most people really, that's like that's not even they don't think that's possible, you know? And it is possible. It is possible, but it's not something you should bet on. You should bet on yourself ultimately. The ultimate truth is yourself and seeing things clearly for yourself, you know?
And I mean, there's a lot of kids that grow up like that, bro. Like they just have their girlfriend and then they need someone on their side all the time, bro. And but luckily for me, you know, I didn't have a girlfriend for a long time, bro. So I was always with friends or by myself. That's why I'm used to it. Yeah. And when you do have like that chick, it's just like it's like a little
like a bonus.
Oh, like a bonus, right? But at the same time, if something happens, you're like, you kind of don't feel too bad, like too depressed of like going through some shit, because you're like, I'll just go back to my real ones, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like a balance there too. But at the same time, you missed out on, you know, whatever, like prom and all that bullshit. I didn't go through any of that shit.
Yeah, but I didn't go about that. I didn't go through that. I was already after high school for me, but
all the dances, whatever, going to movies with them, and then
I didn't do that either.
Yeah, and then a lot of people, and then my fans were like, "Man, are you gay?" I'm like, "Fool," and I was super shy, bro, and I was like, "No, I fucking love women, bro. Like, but they don't love me or some shit. I don't know what's going on."
Yeah, and I think to your point,
it makes a lot of sense.
When you're younger, like you try to experience that, like what they kind of sell you type of thing,
that closeness or that romance, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and like
the Notebook, like how all these girls say they like the Notebook movies.
Yeah, they'd be at the club at fucking 1 a.m. They're gonna get a romance like that, bro.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But that's true. That's a fact. What were you saying, bro?
Yeah. Oh, no, I was just gonna say, like, I think it depends on the woman that you want in your life as well.
That's true.
Like maybe Martin just looking for a different woman in his life, and he just hasn't found that one that has checked all his boxes.
Nah, that's true.
I feel like it also depends what you want in your life, because every man wants something different from a woman.
Of course, yeah.
You know, and I feel like us, like at least maybe I'm just speaking for me, but maybe how we're thinking, because I think we're kind of to some degree think alike. We want somebody who gives good advice, you know, who gives good recommendations, or like, you know, when you're in the actual like, you know, relationship. And I think like, at least going back to Martin's point, I think how I was rephrasing what I processed what he said was that you want to have somebody who can give you good counsel. And I think like, but like traditionally, like within the Bible, you should be the head of the household. But to be the head of the household, you really have to kind of go one deep, like layer deep. And it is, you have to first get wisdom from God to become the head. Because if you don't have the wisdom from God, then how do you expect to be the head?
That makes sense.
And you have to have some connection with God to some degree. You have to have, because if you don't have that, then everything else will break.
That makes sense. Yeah, I've heard that before. It's like, and that's true. That's 100% true. Because I remember when I was in that relationship at that young age, I was always spiritual as a kid. Like I would always have my own form of prayer. I don't know if it's like Mexican Catholicism that's always instilled in you when you're a kid. It's like you always have a form of praying. Because I always seen it in my dad. My dad would always have a little minute of praying before he got to bed. Like, I don't know. I grew up, you know, first generation. Most of the time, like my upbringing was in one room with my whole family, and I have 3 siblings. So it's like my mom, my dad, we're sitting, they're sleeping in a corner. We're sleeping my family over here. It's like one room, renting a room. And it's like, that's just how a lot of people actually grow up, especially if you're Mexican and first generation in California.
That's how I grew up too, bro.
It's like you're just sharing a room with all your whole family, bro.
That's how we grew up.
It's multi-generational home, man. And so it's like, there's a point in time at nighttime where you're like reach out to your dad and he's just like, "Whoa, give me a second, like I'm over here, like I'm praying, you know, like I'm doing my shit." And I'm like, oh, okay, like I noticed that too. And I'm like, my mom also instilled that in me too. And it's a certain moment of like thanks or gratitude or like just surrender before you go to bed, and then you go to bed. And I remember that, and that's a thing that I kept even through my most rebellious phases as a teen.
Yeah.
Because I was a teenager and I was like, man, like you think you know everything, and you're like, man, I'm atheist, I'm this and that. But even in my most atheist, smart guy phase, I was still had a little moment of prayer. even if when I thought I was an atheist, I still like sat and like, oh, okay, thank you for today and this and that.
Bro, yeah, my shit was like that too, bro. But I was worse though, because I was like saying dumb shit, bro. Like I was like a punker, bro. So I would always wear black. I would have like a black jacket, like all the punker like bands, bro. I have them all like stitched on my sweater, and then my mom was like, Are you all right, son?
Are you fucking
are you
trying to kill yourself?
Yeah, like are you doing drugs? And I'm like, fuck no. And then but there would be like, and then they would tell me like, you gotta be appreciative, and I'm like, nah, fuck, I don't believe in that shit. That shit's all bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
I said that, and then they sent me to a recruit. What do you call it? Not a recruit. Where
like
you
a
go
boot camp shit.
Yeah, for like church shit, bro. And I didn't see my like fam for like 5 days, bro. Because we were just
you're a
3
bad-
days.
like a
no, bro.
like a retreat. Like
A retreat. There you go. I went to a retreat. And my mom was like, "Nah, you're definitely going to this shit, bro." Because they signed me up, bro. They were like, we were just talking about God for like the whole weekend, bro. And then I was just like, and then it was like it was like we were in like a gym, like a high school gym.
Yeah.
And like a whole like the basketball courts and stuff, and then we were like a whole circle, bro. Like there's a bunch of people there, and then we were just like, all right, you grab him and you grab that. All right, it's like a rehab shit almost too. So we were like talking about God, and they're like, someone told me that you don't believe in God, and I'm like, God damn, they told me put me on the spot, bro. And I was already shy too, bro. I was like, God damn, what the fuck am I doing here, bro? But I remember some lady, bro. She treated me like my son. She was like, yeah, you'll be fine. Just believe in God, and everything is gonna go out great for you. But sometimes you have those dark moments. And she was like, I remember that lady too, bro. But she was like, this guy's my son, bro, to everybody. And
that's a beautiful person right there.
Yeah. And then I was like, damn. So but I was still like yeah, bro. And the thing that got me too, bro, like they my brothers and my parents, they sent me letters, bro.
Oh,
Damn.
Yeah. So they made me read letters too.
Damn.
So that, and then the one that made me straight up tear like crazy, bro, was Lalo, when he was I think he was like 7 or 8 years old, bro. And I got a letter from this fool, and I just started crying, bro, to be honest.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, from Lalo, bro. And then he was like, I love you, bro.
Damn.
And he was like not even like his like, he was an 8-year-old kid, bro.
Like,
and then I just seen this shit, I was like bawling, bro, like fuck, bro, like straight up crying.
Like, I gotta get my act together.
Straight up like that, bro. And I was like, man, shit. So that's just crazy. But it goes back to like having a family that supports you, and maybe well, your boy Jesus, bro, sent me there and gave me that experience, because that totally meant the world to me right there, bro. I felt like I won the lottery right there at that moment, bro, because I was like, man, a lot of people do care about me, bro.
That's true.
So and that's how I thought, bro.
And that's true. That's deep. That's a deep topic,
bro.
But that's true. And I also want to kind of give a different type of perspective on it, because I know a lot of people. Like, there's people who I hear their story and I'm fucking like stumped. I'm dumbfounded. I don't know how to help them. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I mentioned it to you the other time,
bro.
I'm like, I come across it's rare that you come across these stories where it's like, I don't know how to help this person. I don't know what to tell this person. Because I come across this guy who, I don't want to tell too much about his story, because I don't know if he listens or not, but it's like a coworker type of guy, and he just told me this story. It's like crazy childhood, it's crazy like childhood trauma type shit. And I'm like, holy fuck, like
damn.
And even at this moment in his life, it's like it's still pretty dark and fucked up. I'm like, holy shit, like I don't even know what to tell this person. And it's like, yeah, we talk a lot about family. We talk a lot about this kind of thing on the podcast, and some people don't have that to reach out to. And in his case, I don't think he would have that, because it's like his family was some of the people who kind of is like a black and white. Like some of his family was like really dark.
Damn.
And like they were hurting him a lot. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, so if we were to see this in a clear way, like, yeah, family is beautiful in our experience, you know, in my experience, in my experience, family is very beautiful and a great thing, but that's not true for everybody. And that's something that I you know, accept, and we have to kind of speak to those people too, because those people, they maybe don't have a way out. They feel very alone. And it's like, I was thinking about it, I'm like, holy shit, like how can you reach out to a person like that?
I think to quickly answer that is you have to go to Jesus, because Jesus is the truth. This is like a biblical scripture here. I'm going to chop it up a little bit, but maybe I'm saying it the correct way. Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the light. Nobody comes to the Father through me, the Lord Jesus Christ. So I think for me, at least when I listen to that passage or when I think about it, he's got to come to his understanding of what is his truth and go from there through Christ. Because Christ is going to be the one who's going to change him. Yeah, he's got to figure out what's his truth, because our truth is going to be defined different from his truth. Because we lived a different life. We lived a different family. Yeah. Your family, you're going to live it the way your truth and how your mom and your dad raised you up. You're going to live it how the way maybe your parents had, and that becomes your truth. And that becomes the way you look at the world.
But what if someone doesn't really believe in that? How would be another avenue they could go on?
Because some people are really like, there's people who are genuinely lost. Like, genuinely, we have to accept there are people who are very apart from source. Whatever you consider source, you consider Jesus.
So for me, scripture is a source. So that's just I would just even bet them to read one scripture and just try. That and just even like maybe ask for a prayer, like, you know, God, speak to me in some way.
Dude, like
I mean, that is definitely
that's my source, at least for me. It's always,
because sometimes they're it's rare, but I mean sometimes they do get that message like, oh yeah, they really feel that message, and it really encourages them to change, and they, you know, go more to God, and they start going to church and stuff like that. But there's a lot more people, bro, especially how these social media and shit.
My answer is that, because I guarantee you, I know God, Jesus is gonna do what he's got to do. That's how much faith I have in God and in Christ. That's like when you really believe in Christ, you know he's gonna do his will. Okay, you know he's gonna do his part.
I don't disagree with that take. I'm not saying that anybody's wrong. I think everybody's correct in their take. What I think is some people are just so lost.
I could go back on something simple, bro. You could be like, I mean, if you wanted to give them a good advice, I'd be like, but at the same time, what if they don't have real friends, bro?
Yeah, you
like,
see? That goes hard.
So that's why I'm saying, like, I don't know what the fuck to tell
you. So, but if at the same time, it's like, what if he does have a good a friend that he does trust? I mean, he got to have one, right? At least one, right?
It ultimately boils down to you. I think that's the trick of it. The universe is the trick. It boils down to how you interact with this person, and it's like, because this person like gives enough information to me where it's like he feels comfortable with me in a way, and I'm like, okay, so, but if I'm the person, if I'm the intermediary, right? If I'm the messenger,
maybe you're.
What could I tell him? And I don't really know what to say, and so it's like, that's actually that's like the topic right here. It's like, I don't know.
I think I would treat them the way you would want to be treated. There's a golden rule from the Bible: treat others how you want to be treated. I think if you simply do that, I think that's a place to start. It's a place to start. I mean, it's not a final. It's a place to start, though.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I think like I would say, if you have a good friend, like, reach out to him, I guess. Like, if you don't have friends,
like, you have nothing.
If you have nothing at all, damn, like read books, bro.
Yeah.
You see, mine be the
like,
Bible. I'll give them the Bible and just open it up one day and just read it.
Nah, but they ain't gonna do that, bro. Like, especially like if they're
There's
lost
people
like
who are
that.
rebellious, bro.
Yeah.
There's people who are super rebellious.
Then they'll learn until the day they die. Like that's like sad to say it, but it's like some people, if they don't want to open up their eyes, there's I'm not saying the fate. I'm not saying we're the end of the world. I'm not saying, but sometimes we take so much years to open up our eyes to see reality from a different way. Is basically what I'm getting to.
That is 100%.
We take so much time sometimes to open our eyes to the truth.
I agree.
And like you guys were talking about before, maybe even this podcast could be a source of truth for him.
You're right, and that's probably why
That's true, bro.
why it came up and why we brought it up. I agree. I think it's just something that I've been thinking about. I don't have no answer about it. I'm just like, because I've had these conversations. I'm like, I'm sitting next to this person. I'm like, what the fuck did I tell this person? Like, what do I tell them? Like, and usually I'll just say like, hey, like, just the only thing I could say, the most simple thing I could say is just distance yourself from that situation as much as you can.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Whatever is in your power.
Perfect.
I know that it might seem complicated, whatever, but just the first step, just distance yourself from that situation. And I think that's all I've said, and that's just what makes sense to me. You can't teach them a scripture at that point. Like you just have to say, hey, first things first, get out of that.
But it goes back to scripture. Goes back to what's his truth. He has to redirect that truth.
Well,
you see what I mean? Because he's living under certain assumptions. Like I think you talked about this a while back. I think in the podcast. Don't see things face value, right? And so if you go back, at least for me, when I interpret when you say that, don't see things face value. Figure out what's your truth, right? Because then everything in the world is what? Do we just take it at face value?
Yeah, I guess it makes sense.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, you can't.
Go ahead.
You can't even. But yeah, you can't save everybody too, bro. Because everybody like there's.
You can't.
Yeah, you can't save everybody. It'd be impossible. But it also to give him like a good message, and potentially could help him, through his life path or whatever. Because it does take a while, especially how a person is like. Because a lot of people are naive and stuff, but as soon as they realize the truth, like we're going back on the truth, he'll understand like, oh, this is the right way. If he does even get to that point of understanding, bro, because a lot of people, they'll just still be stuck in the same position, bro, and that's sad to see.
That's a fact.
If he doesn't want to change, that's on him too, though, bro. Because you could lead him. What is it that saying? You could lead a horse, yeah, and you can't you
can't make him drink.
Exactly, yeah. And if
that's true.
And if like this fool told me
Damn, bro, that's deep.
to read books, bro, and if I didn't want to read books and I didn't want to change, then I wouldn't have done it, and I would have probably been a gonzo, bro, like a knucklehead, bro. But I was like, man, maybe this guy is right, so I did it, bro. So it was just my chance of like,
you heard the right info at the right time.
Yeah, there you go. You got to be hearing at the right place at the right time, basically, bro.
But that's a good topic too, because it's like, yeah, there's a lot of people that are out there that they may not relate to this message that we put out, and I think that's a good conversation to have, because it's like there are people, like we have a lot of even homies that they don't have that family structure that we've grown up with, that at this table, because I know we all have we stand on the shoulders of a lot of people that came before us.
That's true.
And there's people who don't have anything like that.
You know what's crazy that you bring that up? I think I'm quoting the scriptures, the Bible so much, but this talks about in the Bible is also depends on our genealogy, where we come from. A lot of people don't think about their ancestors and where they're coming from, and that has a big effect on where you are right now. We're iterations of our ancestors if you really think about it.
That's true.
Like we're iterations of our past Mexican Indios, they're in the tribe, and they're working hard.
Yeah.
We're iterations of those people if you really think about it to some degree.
That's true.
Yeah. Our ancestors, yeah.
And that sometimes your lineage, and it talks about in the scriptures, like if your lineage is bad, like you got to find a ways to part ways from that to become reborn, to become new.
Okay, so if you had a scripture off the top of your head that's like really profound to you, do you want to share it? Or
that's a good one.
It's up to you.
I can do all things through Christ.
That's the scripture?
Yep.
I can do all things through Christ.
I don't know the exact Bible verse, but I can do all things through Christ. Or I could say in Spanish, Filipenses 4:13, todo en Cristo que me fortalece.
Whoa.
Man, what is that, bro?
just
What does that
Everything
mean?
in Christ strengthens me.
everything in Christ.
So you're like whatever you just if you're having a bad day, you just like pray or what? Like like
Sorry, I wasn't trying to laugh, but you said it in a funny way, bro. You just pray. Sorry. Forgive me, God. It's just, the way you said that shit was funny.
This was it. Forgive me, God.
Hey. Okay.
So we'll do this. Okay, so
sorry.
in
It's just the way you said it, bro. It's like funny how you said it.
yeah, it's funny. So let's talk about so Mexican culture and Catholicism and Christianity and all this, bro.
So I guess I was born Catholic. For me, stepping into that,
Okay.
I think a lot of people don't even know what it is to be Catholic, bro.
That's a fact
like,
right there.
Like to keep it 100, Mexican people don't even know what it is to be Catholic. Straight up,
Yeah, they don't, bro.
they don't.
Yeah.
They just go off of what their parents tell them, and they think that's Catholicism.
And you know, okay, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Oh,
That's beautifully. That is actually beautifully said. If you can
crazy,
repeat
bro.
that.
Repeat it, bro. That shit was hard, bro.
Okay, you don't have to repeat it. So basically,
No, we go back to our parents, what they're taught. What do you say? And that's
traditionally
their,
what they're taught, yeah, right?
yeah, that's what you said, yeah. Like,
yeah. So we only know what our parents basically teach us with Catholicism.
There you go, there.
And that is a good point because if you look at Mexican history, bro, a lot of it was taught through like beating people up. You know, I not to be too crazy and too this and that, but a lot of you're talking about Indians that don't know fucking Spanish, and you have these people with armor and fucking swords,
Spaniards.
and they're telling them, hey, you better listen to us or not, or else you get the fucking
Whip, or
you get
keister.
a whip, you get a keister basically, and
You
you
get
got to
killed.
realize that a lot of it was through the whip, a lot
To
of
get
it was
power.
through power, through force. And if you look at how our parents taught us, a lot of it was through force and through power and through
Fear,
smacking
intimidation.
and and so that I think that's a good topic to talk about when it comes to Mexican Catholicism. It's passed down through like almost like a scare tactic, and I don't think that's a good way to interact with something that's supposed to be divine, and that's not to say that Catholicism is like this or that. I'm just saying it's like people need to realize their relationship to it is not supposed to be like through fear and through
Yeah, bro, and that's crazy because I mean our parents grew up like getting their ass beat, and that's our too, bro. Like our parents they beat the shit out of me too, bro.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, they beat the shit out of me, bro. And that goes back to like I was watching some crazy shit and said pain is the best teacher.
Yeah, you're actually right. Yeah, I guess you're right.
So like when you keep doing some shit and they, you get home and they beat you up and you don't listen, they keep beating you up till you listen, bro.
That's true.
And then you start listening, bro. But that's crazy though. But how do you make that work though, bro? Like instead of just like talking about like some white people shit, bro. You know how white people be like talking to their parents or their kids like, hey, don't be doing this, and they'll be with the calm voice too, bro. I'll be like, God, mother, like what the fuck did you do?
No,
But
think about that, bro. Wait, let's think about that for a second, bro. Think about that for a second, because I've been working in these luxury environments, right? And in the luxury, jewelry, whatever, people come in with a lot of money, a lot of power. They don't say shit to their kids. Their kids are running around the store. They're knocking shit over, and they don't talk shit to them. They don't say nothing to them. Like, they don't say, hey, get the fuck over here. Never once have I heard anything like that in these environments, right? So you got to realize you're talking to people who are conditioned to survive in an environment, and there's people who are conditioned to adapt and like be afraid. And if you realize when you get into these environments, your nervous system tells you, oh shit, I gotta be on point, I gotta be this, and it's like you have a fear about it. When you get into an environment that's luxury, wealthy, if you come from a certain background, you have this fear kick in. And you're like, holy shit. You feel like out of place, like a fish out of water. Yeah. And in reality, it's like they let their kids run free and they let their kids knock shit over and they don't say shit.
See, I think that I would say from the moral perspective, that's a bad thing.
That's a bad thing. I would
because
think so
then
too.
you don't grow up with morals, you don't grow up with education,
respect. Basically.
You don't grow up with respect, so you're just doing whatever you want as a world. Which I guess maybe they're under the assumption because they have money, they got power, they have access, they got wealth, information. And I think the way the world has allowed that to become is because we've allowed that. Like society has allowed that
100%
over time.
That's 100% good conversation. I had that written down. Topic of morality.
Yeah.
Because that topic of morality is a good topic because this is something that I just struggled with it a lot because I used to be super. I guess you could say 4 or 5 years ago I was super Catholic, right?
Damn.
Super Catholic upbringing.
Damn.
I wouldn't say I would go to church or anything like that, but I would wear Catholic emblems. So I had because my brother's name's Michael, my dad's name is Miguel.
Damn.
So that's Michael, right? And if you look at the symbol of Michael or Saint Michael, it's the man or the angel who fought Lucifer.
Yeah, Archangel Michael.
Yeah, Archangel Michael. So
he fought Lucifer?
Yeah, he fought Lucifer. He fought the devil. So if you look at
did he beat him?
So he said he beat him. It said he beat him, right? So in my life, the name Michael and Miguel is very important because my dad's my brother, and it's my middle name too. It's anglicized, so it's in English. My mom made it in English, but my middle name is Mitchell. So it's Eddie Mitchell Madera. So it's a way to say Michael. So this name has followed me along, and so I look at the Catholic origin of it, and the Catholic origin of it is Archangel Michael, and he fought so-called Lucifer.
Damn.
And so I would wear this around my neck. I had a little pendant that was a Saint Michael pendant. And in this pendant, obviously it's Michael versus a dragon or a snake, right? And in my life, I thought this would protect me. I thought this would do this and that. But you realize that there's more than meets the eye. Because as much as I prayed to it, as much as I did this and that, it's almost like there is a limit. There's a glass ceiling, and there's more to meet the eye. And so in my life, this is my experience, I had to find other means. Because when I reach a certain level, it's almost like my life fell apart.
Damn.
But that's my personal experience. And it's like, that's my experience with Catholicism. And I had a lot of faith and a lot of belief, but I realized that it's not useless. It's just a phase. It's a part of a phase. And the next phase is the phase of knowledge, I guess you could say.
You know what's crazy to say that? And I'm going to add to that. I found Catholicism through knowledge. I found Catholicism through truth. When I started diving deep into truth, for me, Catholicism was the only way. For me, I guess when I started diving deep into truth, and what I mean by truth, you're like, what do you mean by truth, right? What do you mean by, like, you have to question everything you do, even if you go outside of Catholicism. Outside of Catholicism, I mean, going to other religions, you have to question it. You have to question the foundation. You have to question why. You have to question why certain teachings or disciplines are being done. And I think once you find those answers, at least for me, in my opinion, it's always been for me Catholicism. For me, that's why for me, the truth and knowledge, the truth to source has always been to the truth. And and the reason why I'm not trying to go too much into the theology into the church, because that's also another topic I think for another day.
Yeah.
But for me, when I found the truth, it was through Catholicism. The reason why for me Catholicism was the truth and the source of truth for me is because it's the bread of life. Every time they do communion in Sunday service, you have to accept the bread and the wine of Christ.
Yeah.
And for me, the wine of Christ, at least the bread, you have to confess. And maybe a lot of people don't agree with this. And a lot of people are like, why do you have to confess to a priest? Or why do you have to confess to somebody to tell your sins? And the reason is why is because they're the blank slate. They're the constant communication through Christ. And I'm not advocating that every priest is a saint, because they're not. You know, there's always going to be people who are not doing. And that's why I like statistics, because guess what statistics does? It's probabilities, right? We're on average, I can say on average, everybody is a good person. I can say on average, everybody in the United States is typically a good person, right? But on those averages, you can have extremes, right? You can have extreme cases.
Big time.
Yeah. For me, that's why I liked statistics, because it was a good form of thinking about the truth and thinking about the way you should look at things. Not like I think you talked about that deeply, the face value of things, right? You can't always just accept the coin for what it is, right? Obviously, Catholicism is going to have so many flaws because just the way the church has been built over time, you know? But I think when you look into the source of the Bible, you look into the source of why they're doing certain things, you first have to come, like, at least for me, I came to understanding that I have to find a way first to be born again. And I found that through the body of Christ, through the actual, like, drinking. I find that holy. Like, that's the most holiest that I think it can be, at least for me, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think that you're right, and I think you're perfectly right. I think, it's just everybody has their own path and their own experience. And what I learned through my experiences, through like whatever pain that I went through, suffering, that's all made up at the end of the day. When you look back at it, it's like, I just made that for myself. Like, that's all me. But I think that whole experience taught me that, you know, if the true spirituality is within you, it's not.
Yes.
It's not
100%.
It's not somewhere you go. It's not someone that to teach you this. It's within yourself, and I think that taught me that. And so there's truth to it all. There's truth to every religious aspect, and it's what you choose ultimately. As a person listening to this, as a person who's like experiencing it, it's within you. There's truth to everything, and all of them, they all share similarities. They all say the same thing. It's like, treat people how you want to be treated. They're like the most simple things. It's always going to be the truthful shit, and that's why I'm like, okay, so if I agree with this and they agree with this, it doesn't matter what they claim they are, what they claim they are. We're all saying the same shit. You know, like, so it's, at the same time, it's like, it's all coming from inside of you. So yeah, that situation taught me that. And I'm not against any person. I don't have no enemies. I'm not against this person, that person, this religion, that religion. It's just, for me, like, you have your own direct access to what you call source or God or the universe. Yeah. And for everybody, you have to find that. And the people who are more detached from that, you could call them more lost or NPCs or like robots, you know, because in a way they are, because they provide resistance. You know, a lot of people you come across in these moments, they're very detached to the source. You know,
time, yeah.
People who in your darkest moments, the people you come across that you think they're creating these dark moments, they're just more detached from that source. That doesn't mean they can't get there. You know, that doesn't mean people are like a lost cause. You know what I mean?
That's deep.
That's so deep, bro.
But everybody could get there. That's the ultimate message. I think basically everybody can agree upon, regardless of what religion you are, everybody can get to that source. And I guess that's the ultimate message of this is, no matter what you identify with, you know, I support everybody. But, you know, however you can get close to that energy of what you call God,
the truth.
You always meet the same ideas. You know, you always meet, you know, treat people like people, you know, treat people like, you know, like, look out for somebody, you know, like, it's that simple, because they're not much different than you. They're your blood. It's like the Christ saying, Christ gives you his blood to drink, his body to eat. So you should become that. You can give people your body to eat. You give people your blood to eat. Not literally, but like in a spiritual sense, people you meet, right? So I think that's the thing.
Damn.
Give them your good piece of knowledge, bro. Yeah. Like, give them like basically good, like a good, like, you know, advice, bro, to, you know, like you said, go, like, treat people how you want to be treated. And I would want someone to give me good advice, bro. And sometimes it's rare when they do that too, though, bro. But when they do give you good advice, you're like, you kind of remember that person and be like, man, I remember this guy gave me good advice, and I still remember him to this day, bro, because, you know, that changed my life, bro, you know. But that's exactly what we all should be like. But obviously we all can't be like that, bro. Like, there's like the opposite of good is evil, bro. Like your boy, Dr. Evil.
People are too focused on fighting too much, bro. Like, it's not about fighting, bro. Like it's not about fighting. You can't fight everybody.
Like wars too, bro. Because I was watching a documentary and it was like a Bin Laden thing, and they're saying that war is always good for all these motherfuckers that the elites, fool, because that's where they make their money, and they want war because that's how they make a lot of money, bro. All the guns, ammunition, bombs, that's how they make their money. And if there's no war, then they don't make money. So that's another part of like where the fuck these knuckleheads come from, bro. Like, why do they want that? Well, they money hungry. They want to I don't know if they want people to fucking feel like and there are people that there's like your boy Elon Musk, whatever, he invented this and that, but there's also people on the other side that they're billionaires, but they want to see the society fail because they are already at the top and they just want their family to be.
Damn.
But
Okay,
that's,
so
that's some other shit.
what's
bro.
going through your mind right now, bro?
A billion
of ideas.
The easiest one though, I just quote David and Goliath: "When God is on your side, you'll always win.
That's
No
a bar
matter
right there.
no matter who you're fighting.
There you go.
But look, there's also this
No
part
matter
too.
if you got power, no matter if you got money or whatever status. If God's on my side, you're never gonna beat me."
But then
That's
there's
true.
there's
I
always
agree.
people that be like, oh yeah, there's a God that exists, so why do like kids die and people die and stuff like that?
We got to go to the Bible, man.
Yeah.
Because
Or why do kids
to
get
answer that is sin, bro. Genesis 1:1, Adam and Eve. You can start from there and read the end of the Genesis. Adam and Eve, I would say my answer to that is because of the first original sin. That we have all these sins, we have all this chaos. And you can go more into the archangel. And you can go more into that.
So this is a good topic right here. I wanted to bring this up for a while. So in the Adam and Eve story, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's made, I guess you could say the snake tempts Eve, right? So the snake tempts Eve and tells her to eat the apple, right?
That ain't no apple though, bro.
But okay, so
Because I have like, well, to tell your story, I have a different. I heard each story. It wasn't an apple, I believe. He actually they say it in a simpler or like a less harsher way you could say it. Because I guess that Adam and Eve apple shit. Basically, this fool slept with his sister, bro. That's what they're saying. That's where it all comes across, bro.
Oh,
That's why we all sin, bro. Because this fool. They did that shit, bro.
some incest shit.
Yeah, they did the incest shit.
Wow.
That's what they're saying, bro. Like, they ain't no apple and all that. It's like straight up like this fool, did something with his sister. I don't even know if it was her sister or some shit, but it was some family shit. And that's why we always have that temptation, bro. Like when you see it, not your family. That's some sick shit though. But a lot of people think like that. But
I'll let
what do
Addy
you think
go
about
to keep.
this? Was already What do you want to say, bro?
No, I'll let Addy-
correct me.
No,
correct me if
I'll
I'm wrong,
let
bro.
Eddie to keep counting the story.
Yeah.
Oh well,
Sorry,
I
my
just
bad,
thought it was
my
an
bad.
interesting story, but I think what when it comes to stories, nobody's wrong because it's just how you interpret it.
Yeah.
That's why the Bible is so profound, and all these texts you can take it a million different ways, and people do, and that's how they create new religions. Judaism, Christianity, Protestants, Catholics, Christians, they all just take the same text and interpret it in different ways. And that's just like almost like being lawyers. Like they're taking the spiritual text and becoming lawyers based off it. It's like, okay, so this is right. We took a quick break. We're talking about the Adam and Eve story, right? I think it's an interesting story because I mean, I don't know the specifics. I forget the specifics, but I think the general story is Adam and Eve, she was tempted by a snake, right? So she was tempted by a snake to bite an apple, right? So that would be the symbol of Lucifer. And so she bit this apple, right? And the apple would be from the tree of knowledge. So if you look at the actual script or the actual story, which you can take the story in a million different ways, but this is just one way that I'm taking it. You don't have to take it this way. I'm taking it this way. This is my understanding of it. Adam and Eve, Eve was lured away by temptation, right? And I think if you look around in this modern society, I think that's what's going on. Eve has been lured away by temptation. If you connect two and two together, the symbol of the apple is knowledge, right? So knowledge is internet and the smartphone. And what you carry in your pocket It's the apple, right? And the apple, if you look at the apple that has all the knowledge you want in the world, if you pull out your phone, it has a bite out of it. So everybody that's listening to this has already taken that bite. So I don't know what you can make of this, but you have already taken the bite of the tree of knowledge. And that's what I'm trying to get at. It's that there's a point where you have already taken that bite. And when you take that bite of the apple and you look for knowledge, you have to complete the journey. If you see your phone has a bite of an apple and that has all the information you want on it, right? So you've already taken that bite, so there's no going back.
I got one question to that. What's better, knowledge or wisdom?
It goes hand in hand. It goes hand in hand because knowledge, you can be a smart guy, you can be a clever guy, and you can think you know, but ultimately those guys will get revealed. But knowledge itself, you have to see it to its own end. So once you already, it's like you're a kid, right? When we're all children, we are all happy. Right. Or we're in a natural state of happiness, natural state of play, natural state of ignorance. It's almost like an ignorance in a way, but we're in the highest state of being. But when we get a little bit more knowledge in our teenage years, we start getting that darkness come in, right? So that darkness is that knowledge of life, that knowledge of people and how they are. And you have to see what it is. You know, you can sit there and you can blind yourself to it and you'd be like, no, that's not true. People are not like that. But then it's going to follow you. It's going to follow you as long as you live. And you can deny it all you want, bro. You can deny it all you want, bro. But that's that childhood fantasy. It's that you're in the childhood state and then you take that bite of the apple. And we've all taken that bite, whether you want to accept it or not. We've all taken that bite because you have a phone in your pocket. You can search up anything you want in this world. You could search up the nastiest thing you want and it'll come up. And that's the knowledge. You already seen it. Most of you listening to this, you've already seen the worst things that the world has to offer. So you're not innocent. You're not in a state of childhood innocence. You've already seen it. So what's left? You want to blind yourself or do you want to see it through to the end?
I thought you're reading a book right now. A good story, bro. Hell yeah. And also too, like the website, bro. Why is it www? Like, you know, they're saying that 666. That's in what is it?
That's true, huh?
Yeah. So it's like you see the whole, like you can see the good,
the World Wide Web.
Everything, like the bad too, bro. Like Satan shit, bro. Everything.
I think we've all taken the bite of the apple at this point in time because we've all seen everything we need to see. You know, back in the day, in the tribal days, in the small societies, you don't see that shit. You don't see the most beautiful women out there at a touch of your fingertips. You don't see that. Only the kings saw that. The highest kings of any kingdom, they're the only ones who saw the beautiful women and how we see them nowadays. If we want to. If I pull up my phone, I can see the most beautiful women in the most sexual way you want. But that's not true for all humans, bro. That's very new. So we've already, and so you see the symbol of Apple as a fucking technology. And you have to realize that everybody alive has taken that bite.
Damn.
So
that's
what's
true,
left,
bro? Damn, that's true, bro.
So I guess the question is, what's next for the people who are listening? What's the pivoting point that they should understand the essence of who they are? Like being as a fool, do they stay as a fool, or you know, kind of what would you say, Eddie and Martin, to the people listening to that? Like, what should be their turning point? You think that to wake up or to learn or to understand?
What would you say?
I would say, in my opinion, it'd be like more like a meditation. Find yourself, trust the universe, and obviously, like you said, God, bro. But a lot of people don't also believe in that. But that's the path that I would take, and you know, just be a good person and try to understand like how people are, because that's also a really good thing too. Because you don't want to judge everybody too, because everybody's so judgeful of everybody, bro. And you know, if someone comes at you like all crazy, I mean, you understand, like, try to understand like where they're coming from too, you know. But at the same time, yeah, there's just believe in yourself too, bro. You know, like you could actually do. And there's a higher power that guides you through that and is leading you through the right path. So, but there's always temptation. There's always that snake, like Eddie was mentioning, that and that like temptation. Like if you have a girlfriend, whatever, and there's always like you pull out your phone and you see all these girls, and I think that nowadays people feel like they have a lot of options, which is not the case, bro. Because they feel like, oh yeah, like I'll go on this app over here and I could get all these bitches, whatever. I could get like all these dudes, and in reality, these dudes are just like there to do one thing, you know. And same for the ladies too, bro. But at the same time, yeah, it's like do what you want to do, bro. You know, ain't nobody gonna judge you.
I was just gonna add to your question. What if you have a friend and you can call him crazy or whatever, but you always give him advice, but they never listen? Would you still call him a friend?
Oh, that's a good topic because we talk about that too. I think it's a phase of being a person. It's like we all go through the phase of like not taking advice, and you have to realize.
But
like,
if you consider that person as your fool or your homie, you would take their advice, though, right?
I guess you could say, yeah. I wouldn't. I guess you could say
because
it's true.
Then
Yeah.
it has to have some level of respect. You have to have some level of humility for the other person, right? Because if not, then you just kind of throw it out the window, right? If like they're always telling you the right thing, or I'm just under the assumption that they're giving you good advice. I'm under that assumption, you know. I have like my homie Martin, my
like
homie Eddie,
yeah.
you know, always trying to share that good advice, that good wisdom. I'm under that assumption that you guys are sharing good stuff, you know, good stuff to me, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not under the impression that you guys are trying to do that witchcraft, you know, on the side or some shit like
not.
that. You know what I mean?
No, of course not.
Nah, yeah, no mames.
No, but there is people out there, you know, like that, you know.
Fuck yeah.
I think it's more so like when people have it's the thing to say with the ego thing, right? The ego, you want to choose people and you want to take things from them.
I was about to say ego too. Yeah, that's your ego.
The ego is like the evilness, but if you just come from a place of truth and a place of experience, your own experience, like it's up to you whether you resonate with that or not.
Yeah, because like if like you said, if you give them advice and they don't listen, and you consider your friend, I would consider my friend. Like they don't have to listen to me, but it's just a little. I'm trying to give them good advice, bro. Mm-hmm. But if they don't listen, that's on them. And if they fuck up, I'll be like, hey, see, I told you. But I mean, it's your ego that'd be like, no, you gotta listen to me. It's like I don't really care, bro. Like I just let you know, you do your thing, and
I guess like I don't mean it like in the rephrase of like you gotta listen to me. I mean it in the sense of like you're wishing them the best thing that they want. So shouldn't they accept that as a like your palabra? You know, like you're a man. You know, like I give you this palabra, kind of like your pops. You know, like when you fuck up, your pop tells you like, yeah, you know what, you fucked up. Like here, you know, like you try to accept that. You know, you try to like, at least how my parents are like. I was kind of grown. You know, like your word is your palabra type. You know, like if the homie Martin is telling me straight up the truth, like, hey, you know what, you fucked up here, and here. I'm gonna just take him on his word on that because that's his palabra, you know, like that's what he's
offering.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it makes sense. I agree. I think that it's true. I think that certain information reaches you when you're ready. I don't think everybody's ready for every information because
exactly true.
You know, it goes back to women.
True, bro.
It goes back to the women thing. You know, like because there's certain women who you can be the most evolved guy and they will not respond to that because they're not at that level of maturity. They want the knucklehead, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's,
all the dumb
I would say that's like 90% of women. 90% of women want a knucklehead, and that's something that you accept when you reach a certain level of maturity as a guy. When you reach a certain level of maturity as a guy, you realize, they're not for me. You're at a certain level of understanding.
Mm-hmm. That's true, bro. Yeah,
and it's like they're lost. People are lost. Most people are lost, and that's where you that's where that perception is born.
Right.
The perception of most people are not there where you are, where you see, you know. And
exactly. Yeah.
That's just you use that how you use that, but that's your choice. Nobody is forcing that on you, and if you think you're being forced upon, then something's wrong.
And the reason I asked that question and I speak about it from the perspective of the Bible is God is always asking you for forgiveness for turning around, but when will you listen? When would you take on His truth to change or to be a different person? And you don't know. You don't know, like, if God is using Martin or somebody else to talk to you, like as an instrument through those words. Like,
That's right.
You don't know, like, the spiritual realm of how God interacts within using other people. That's why the Bible is so complex, because the Bible, I think, in my opinion, is in 4 dimensions. So right now we're living in the third dimension, but the Bible talks about it. I think the way I would see it is in 4 dimensions: past, present, future. Like, if you read the scripture today, tomorrow you're gonna get a different message.
That's true. That's true. Any real teaching that's alive, that's a fact. That's 100% true.
Richard, wait.
That's 100% true.
Damn, bro, that's facts though too, right there, bro. But yeah, it's like what Eddie said though too. That, like, if you give them your advice, it comes to them at the right time, bro. Because even when you're a kid, like when you go to school, your parents always tell you, "Oh, go to college, go to school, and keep going to college." But some of us don't listen to that, bro, because they're not there yet, bro. You know, they're doing something else. Yeah, but it's at the right time, at the right moment, where, like, they open their eyes and they wake up and they're like, all right, you know what? I do need to go back to school or whatever. You know, I need to listen to what my parents told me. Yeah, straight
That's
up,
a fact
like that. So
I mean, I'm just saying, just because I think we all got those friends where, like, some of them just take it too much to the extreme, and then they just, one thing leads to another thing, and, you know, it's not a good cycle, not a good, like...
Yeah.
like,
I mean, the only thing you can do, like, is just pray for those people. Like, some people are just, they won't change because, like you said earlier, they're just stuck in that NPC life.
Yeah.
They're only looking at the world from the way how an NPC would.
I think it's their ego too, bro. It's their ego. They don't want to listen to you.
That's the NPC, though.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you guys talked about earlier in the podcast.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that the simplest truth ultimately going to be the real shit, bro. Like, the simplest things is always, it's going to connect with every understanding you have. Like, the more simple you can make it, the more universal it will be, and it's going to be true too. Like, you respect that divinity in every person, wherever they're coming from, bro. Like, everybody has that potential within them. Everybody can be as great as the next person. Everybody can become Jesus. Everybody can become Buddha. You have to respect that within them and understand their position, like, in their development. Because people are like, they could be grown 80-year-old men, but they could be child in their spiritual life. You know, they could be children.
The only thing I gotta say that is you don't want to wake up until you're 90. And I think maybe me and Martin, you guys talked about this outside the podcast. You don't want to be that one person who regrets things when they're 80, 90. I should have done that. I should have done this. I should have done that. And then you're living a life of regret. You're living a life of in denial. You're living a life of sleep. You're living a life of blindness.
True.
Still living within the matrix.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's true. But that's also it goes deeper. Because it's like there are spiritual teachers that say that we've come here for an amount of lives that we can't imagine that we're asleep to. Like, there's lives that maybe you've been maybe this spiritual understanding that you have, you've been working towards it for many lifetimes, and you're right now figuring it out. And you don't know how that works, and nobody can really. I can't say I know how that works because I don't. But if you really kind of like think about these things, it's like, oh, maybe it makes sense because crazier things are true. You know, like.
Well, just to add to that, I think for me, the way I look at it, I guess from the Catholic perspective, the only person who was able to resurrect is Jesus Christ, and that's, I think, the whole foundation of me being a Catholic is because that's the only person who has ever resurrected from the life. At least. I'm not, again, trying to bash on other religions or anything like that. I'm just speaking from my own truth and from where I see things and where I see the perspective. Like you only got one life, you know, church the people you're around with, church, you know, with the homie Eddie on the podcast with the homie Martin. Yeah. Sometimes, you know, the great times, you know, are, you know, sometimes the simple things and you enjoy, you know, with your family, you know, those good times, you know, you don't really think about it because you're like, oh, I'm in the moment doing these things. But sometimes even the little things are like, man, those were good times, man. Yeah, like exactly. I had a good dinner with my mom yesterday, last night. You know, that's one of the best times of my life.
Yeah, that's true, bro.
That's true, man. Is there anything you would want to end it off on? Anything kind of topics you guys want to end it off on?
I think I'm good right now, bro. That we did a good ass podcast.
Good
bro.
ass, this is a good podcast, man. Shout out to the homie Richard for coming through, dropping his knowledge on all this stuff that we don't usually touch upon, but it's good because a lot of Mexicans, Catholic, I mean, our upbringing is Catholic, our upbringing, all this kind of stuff, but it's just cool stuff. If you want to think about it, use what works for you and don't use what doesn't work for you. You know, it's not being imposed upon you.
Exactly. It's like, do what you want to do with this information, and
it's your free will.
Yeah, your free will, basically. So thank you for coming through, Richard. There's gonna be a part 3, maybe, bro.
We gotta do more.
We gotta do, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Giving that good knowledge, bro. But thank you guys for listening. Follow, subscribe,
comment, to these guys.
Make sure you comment on everything. Tap in with us, and we'll set up ways for you guys to reciprocate if you guys want to. Shout out to us, work with us. I don't know.
Any other
we'll set up
fun stuff.
These guys are coming up. Trust. These guys are coming up.
We're coming.
soon.
Yeah,
there
bro.
you go.
All right,
peace out.
All right, peace, baby.